In a big, busy city where people rushed from one place to another without stopping to notice much around them, there lived a woman named Evelyn Carter. Evelyn was no ordinary person. She was a millionaire, someone who had worked incredibly hard to build her fortune. She owned luxurious homes, expensive cars, and all the comforts money could buy. But despite her success, Evelyn carried a quiet sadness in her heart. She was a single mother raising her 8-year-old daughter, Lily, who had been born blind. Evelyn loved her daughter more than anything in the world. However, life wasn't easy for her, balancing her demanding career in real estate with being a full-time mom was exhausting. Every morning she woke up early, made sure Lily was ready for school, and then headed to her office. By the time she returned home in the evening, Lily was often already asleep. Evelyn felt torn between her responsibilities at work and her desire to spend more time with her daughter. She wanted to give Lily the best life possible, but deep down, she worried that material things weren't enough to fill the void left by her absence. Lily, on the other hand, was a bright and cheerful child. Though she couldn't see the world, with her eyes she experienced it through sound, touch, and imagination. Her favorite thing to do was sit on the front porch of their beautiful house, listening to the sounds of the neighborhood. She loved hearing birds chirping, cars driving by, and especially the friendly voices of people passing through. One voice in particular stood out to her, a kind man who always greeted her warmly whenever he came near their house. This man was Marcus Johnson, a sanitation worker who collected trash along Evelyn Street every week. Marcus was not rich or famous. In fact, his life had been far from easy. He grew up in a rough part of the city, raised by a single mother who worked multiple jobs just to put food on the table. Despite the challenges, Marcus never lost his sense of kindness and optimism. Even as an adult, he remained determined to make the most of what he had. Working long hours hauling garbage bins under the hot sun or freezing cold didn't break his spirit. Instead, it fueled his dream of someday becoming a teacher, a goal he had to put on hold when financial struggles forced him to leave college. Every Thursday morning, Marcus would drive his sanitation truck down Evelyn Street. And every Thursday without fail, he'd stop briefly to say hello to Lily. Over time, they formed a special bond. Marcus would tell her about his day, share funny stories, or describe the weather. Sometimes he'd bring her little surprises, a shiny pebble he found on the road or a flower he picked from a nearby park. To Lily, these small tokens were treasures, and Marcus became someone she looked forward to seeing each week. Evelyn noticed this connection almost immediately. At first, she found it strange. Why would a sanitation worker take such an interest in her daughter? Wasn't his job supposed to be collecting trash, not chatting with kids? But the more she observed their interactions, the more curious and impressed she became. Marcus treated Lily with genuine care and respect, speaking to her as though she were any other child. He never pitied her for being blind. Instead, he celebrated her uniqueness and encouraged her curiosity about the world. One crisp autumn morning, Evelyn decided to hire a new housekeeper to help manage their large home. As she went about her usual routine, preparing for another hectic day at the office, she didn't realize that this seemingly ordinary decision would lead to something extraordinary. The new housekeeper arrived promptly, and Evelyn left for work, thinking nothing of it. Meanwhile, Lily stayed home, sitting on the porch as she always did, waiting for the familiar rumble of Marcus's sanitation truck. That day, something unusual happened. When Marcus pulled up to the curb, he saw Lily struggling to reach for something near the steps. Without hesitation, he jumped out of the truck, leaving his work behind for a moment, and hurried to her side. Gently, he helped her up and brushed the dirt off her coat. Seeing tears forming in her eyes, he knelt beside her and said softly, "Hey now, don't cry. You're stronger than you think." Then, reaching into his pocket, he pulled out a granola bar meant for his lunch and handed it to her. "Here, this will make you feel better," he said with a warm smile. Unbeknownst to Marcus, Evelyn was watching everything from her bedroom window. Her heart swelled with emotion as she witnessed this act of kindness. Here was a man who probably struggled to make ends meet yet freely gave away what little he had to comfort her daughter. It was a simple gesture, but it spoke volumes about the kind of person Marcus was. Evelyn felt a mix of gratitude and admiration wash over her. From that moment on, she couldn't stop thinking about Marcus and the impact he had on Lily's life. Over the next few days, Evelyn began paying closer attention to Marcus. She asked neighbors and other sanitation workers about him, hoping to learn more. What she discovered amazed her. Marcus was beloved by everyone in the community. Stories poured in about how he helped an elderly woman carry groceries after noticing her struggle, or how he stayed late to clean up debris left behind by careless construction crews. People spoke highly of his integrity, compassion, and willingness to go above and beyond for others. As Evelyn pieced together these stories, she realized that Marcus was unlike anyone she had ever met. In a world where so many people focused only on themselves, Marcus stood out as someone who genuinely cared about others. His actions reminded her of the importance of kindness and humanity, qualities she sometimes feared were fading in today's fast-paced society. Determined to express her gratitude, Evelyn decided to invite Marcus inside their home one evening, after his shift ended. She knew it might seem odd inviting a sanitation worker into her mansion, but she felt compelled to thank him personally. When Marcus arrived, he looked nervous, unsure of what to expect. Evelyn greeted him warmly and offered him a cup of coffee. Sitting together in the cozy living room, she thanked him for his kindness toward Lily and shared how much his friendship meant to her daughter. As they talked, Evelyn learned even more about Marcus's background, his dreams of becoming a teacher, his love for literature, and the sacrifices he made to support his younger siblings. Listening to him speak, she saw not just a sanitation worker, but a man with immense potential. An idea began forming in her mind, an idea that could change both their lives forever. Little did Evelyn know, this conversation would mark the beginning of a journey neither of them could have anticipated. What started as a simple act of kindness, on Marcus's part, would soon blossom into something far greater, proving that even the smallest gestures can have a profound ripple effect. The evening Evelyn invited Marcus into her home marked a turning point in both their lives. Though the conversation began awkwardly, with Marcus unsure of why he was there, it quickly evolved into something deeper. Evelyn started by thanking him for his kindness toward Lily. "I've seen how you interact with my daughter," she said softly, her tone sincere. "It's rare to find someone who treats her with such genuine care and respect." Marcus shifted uncomfortably in his seat, unused to receiving praise, especially from someone like Evelyn, a wealthy woman whose lifestyle seemed worlds apart from his own. "I just try to be kind," he replied modestly, rubbing the back of his neck. "Lily is a sweet kid. She deserves happiness just like anyone else." Evelyn nodded, studying him thoughtfully. There was something about Marcus that resonated with her. His humility, his quiet strength, and the way he carried himself with dignity despite his circumstances. Wanting to learn more, she asked him about his life, where he grew up, what his dreams were, and how he ended up working as a sanitation worker. At first, Marcus hesitated. He wasn't accustomed to sharing personal details with strangers, let alone someone as influential as Evelyn. But as they talked, he found himself opening up. He told her about growing up in one of the city's toughest neighborhoods, raised by a single mother who worked tirelessly to provide for him and his siblings. He spoke of his childhood dreams of becoming a teacher, inspired by a middle school instructor who had believed in him when no one else did. And he explained how financial pressures forced him to drop out of college after just 2 semesters, leaving behind the education he had worked so hard for. As Marcus shared his story, Evelyn listened intently, her heart aching for the struggles he had endured. Yet she also felt admiration for the resilience he displayed. Despite everything life had thrown at him, Marcus hadn't become bitter or cynical. Instead, he chose to focus on helping others, spreading kindness wherever he went. It was a quality Evelyn deeply respected, and one she realized was sorely lacking in her own world of wealth and privilege. When Marcus finished speaking, Evelyn leaned forward, her expression thoughtful. "You're an incredible person, Marcus," she said earnestly. "Not many people would go out of their way to help others the way you do, especially when they're facing challenges of their own. I want you to know that your kindness hasn't gone unnoticed. Marcus blinked, surprised by her words. No one had ever spoken to him like that before, not with such sincerity and appreciation. For years, he had felt invisible, as though his efforts didn't matter, but sitting across from Evelyn, hearing her acknowledge his worth made him feel seen in a way he hadn't experienced in a long time. Before Marcus could respond, Evelyn continued, "I'd like to ask you something. Do you still dream of becoming a teacher?" The question caught Marcus off guard. Teaching had been his passion once, but over the years it had started to feel like an impossible dream. "Of course I still want to teach," he admitted quietly. "But life got in the way. College costs money I don't have. Right now, my priority is taking care of my family and making sure we have food on the table." Evelyn nodded, understanding the weight of his responsibilities. Then, with a determined glint in her eye, she said, "What if I told you that doesn't have to be the end of your story? What if I could help you get back on track?" Marcus stared at her, unsure if he had heard correctly. "Help me? How?" he asked cautiously. Evelyn smiled, her mind already racing with possibilities. "I believe in second chances, Marcus, and I believe in you. If you're willing, I'd like to sponsor your education. I can arrange for a scholarship grant to cover your tuition fees so you can return to college and finish your degree. All I ask is that you stay committed to your dream." For a moment, Marcus was speechless. The idea of going back to school felt surreal, almost too good to be true. "Why would you do this?" he finally managed to ask, his voice trembling with emotion. "We barely know each other." Evelyn's gaze softened. "Because people like you remind me of what truly matters," she replied. "In my line of work, it's easy to lose sight of humanity, to focus only on profits and success. But meeting you has reminded me that kindness and compassion are what make life meaningful. You've shown me that even in difficult circumstances, it's possible to lift others up. Now I want to do the same for you." Tears welled up in Marcus's eyes as he absorbed her words. Never in his wildest dreams had he imagined someone like Evelyn Carter would take an interest in his life, let alone offer him such a life-changing opportunity. Overwhelmed with gratitude, he could only nod. "Thank you," he whispered hoarsely. "I won't let you down." Over the next few weeks, Evelyn wasted no time putting her plan into action. She contacted several universities, explaining Marcus's situation and advocating for his admission. Thanks to her influence and resources, she secured a full scholarship for him to complete his bachelor's degree in education. Additionally, she arranged flexible class schedules so Marcus could continue working part-time to support his family while pursuing his studies. When Evelyn broke the news to Marcus, he was overcome with emotion. "I don't know how to repay you," he said, his voice thick with gratitude. "This changes everything, for me, for my siblings, for everyone counting on me." "You don't need to repay me," Evelyn assured him. "Just promise me one thing. Use this opportunity to make a difference in the world. That's all the repayment I need." True to his word, Marcus threw himself into his studies with unwavering determination. Balancing work, school, and family was no easy feat, but he refused to give up. On days when exhaustion threatened to overwhelm him, he thought of Lily's laughter, Evelyn's belief in him, and the countless students he hoped to inspire someday. These thoughts fueled his perseverance, pushing him to keep moving forward. Meanwhile, Evelyn kept a close eye on Marcus's progress, offering guidance and encouragement whenever needed. Their relationship grew stronger, built on mutual respect and trust. To Evelyn, Marcus became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in a world often driven by greed and selfishness, acts of kindness could create ripples of change. As months turned into years, Marcus's hard work began paying off. He excelled in his classes, earning top grades and impressing his professors with his dedication and passion for teaching. His professors encouraged him to apply for internships at local schools, giving him hands-on experience in the classroom. Slowly but surely, Marcus was transforming from a sanitation worker into a future educator. Back home, Lily remained a constant source of joy and motivation for Marcus. Whenever he visited Evelyn's neighborhood during his sanitation route, he made it a point to stop by and check on her. Their bond had only grown stronger over time, and Lily looked up to Marcus as a role model. "One day I'm going to be just like you," she declared proudly during one of their conversations. "I'll help people too." Hearing those words filled Marcus with pride. He realized that his journey wasn't just about achieving his own dreams. It was about inspiring others to chase theirs as well. By the time Marcus graduated from college, he had become a beloved figure in the community. Neighbors who once barely noticed him now cheered him on, celebrating his achievements as though they were their own. Evelyn stood beside him at his graduation ceremony, tears streaming down her face as she watched him walk across the stage to receive his diploma. In that moment, she knew her decision to help him had been the right one. With his degree in hand, Marcus landed a teaching position at a nearby elementary school, the very same neighborhood where he had once collected trash. It was poetic justice, a testament to how far he had come. As he stood in front of his first class, ready to shape young minds, Marcus couldn't help but reflect on his journey. From the streets of poverty to the halls of academia, he had defied every odd stacked against him. And it was all thanks to a chance encounter with a blind little girl and her compassionate mother. Little did Marcus know, his story was far from over. The impact he would have on his students and on Evelyn and Lily would continue to unfold in ways none of them could have anticipated. Marcus's first day as a teacher was nothing short of nerve-wracking. Standing in front of a classroom filled with wide-eyed children, he couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and anxiety. These kids were counting on him to guide them, to inspire them, and to make learning fun. But Marcus wasn't just any teacher. He carried with him the weight of his own struggles, the lessons he had learned from life, and the unwavering belief that every child deserved a chance to succeed, no matter their background. The school where Marcus worked was located in the same neighborhood where he had once collected trash. Many of the students came from families facing similar challenges to those he had grown up with: poverty, broken homes, and limited access to resources. Yet, despite their hardships, these children brimmed with potential. All they needed was someone who believed in them, and Marcus was determined to be that person. On his very first day, Marcus decided to introduce himself not as Mr. Johnson, but simply as Marcus. He wanted the kids to see him as approachable, someone they could trust. After writing his name on the board, he turned to face the class and said, "Before we start, I want you all to know something about me. I grew up right here in this neighborhood, just like many of you. My family didn't have much money, and there were times when things felt really hard. But guess what? I didn't let those challenges stop me from chasing my dreams, and neither should you." His words resonated deeply with the students. For some, it was the first time they had heard an adult speak openly about overcoming adversity. One boy named Jamal raised his hand hesitantly and asked, "Did you ever think about giving up?" Marcus smiled warmly before responding. "All the time," he admitted. "There were days when I felt like nothing would ever change, like I'd always be stuck in the same place. But then I remembered something important. Small steps still move you forward. Even if progress feels slow, it's still progress. That's what kept me going." Jamal nodded thoughtfully, and Marcus could see the spark of determination lighting up in his eyes. It was moments like these that reminded Marcus why he had chosen this path: to show kids like Jamal that they mattered, that their futures weren't defined by their circumstances. Meanwhile, Evelyn watched Marcus's transformation from afar with pride. Though she no longer saw him weekly during his sanitation route, she stayed connected through occasional phone calls and updates. Each time she heard about his successes in the classroom, her heart swelled with gratitude for having played a part in his journey. Still, Evelyn knew Marcus's impact extended beyond his students. It reached her own life, and most importantly, her daughter Lily. Lily, now 10 years old, continued to adore Marcus. Whenever he visited Evelyn's home after work, she would eagerly ask him questions about his day. "What did your students learn today?" she'd inquire, her voice brimming with curiosity. Marcus always took the time to explain, describing science experiments, math problems, or stories they read together. To Lily, Marcus wasn't just a teacher. He was a storyteller who painted vivid pictures with his words, helping her imagine worlds she couldn't see. One evening, as Marcus sat on the porch with Lily and Evelyn, he shared a story about a particularly challenging student named Maria. "She's brilliant," Marcus explained, "but she doesn't believe in herself. Every time I give her praise, she brushes it off, saying she's not smart enough. So today I gave her a special assignment, to write down one thing she's proud of every day for a week. I told her that recognizing her strengths is the first step toward believing in herself." Evelyn listened intently, marveling at how naturally Marcus connected with his students. "You're amazing at what you do," she remarked afterward. "It's like you have this gift for understanding people." Marcus chuckled softly. "I think it comes from knowing what it feels like to doubt yourself. When you've been in their shoes, it's easier to relate." His humility struck Evelyn once again. Here was a man who had achieved so much, yet remained grounded, never forgetting where he came from. It was a quality she admired deeply, and one she wished more people possessed. As months passed, Marcus became a pillar of support, not only for his students, but also for the broader community. Parents began approaching him for advice on how to help their children succeed academically. Local organizations invited him to speak at events, sharing his story to inspire others. Slowly but surely, Marcus was becoming a beacon of hope in a neighborhood that desperately needed it. But perhaps the most profound impact Marcus had was on Evelyn. Watching him navigate life with such grace and purpose made her reevaluate her own priorities. For years, she had focused solely on building her business empire, often neglect. As the years rolled on, Marcus Johnson's influence in the community grew stronger with each passing day. His classroom became a sanctuary for students who felt overlooked or undervalued elsewhere. While other teachers sometimes struggled to connect with their pupils, Marcus had an uncanny ability to see beyond their challenges and recognize their potential. He didn't just teach academics, he taught life skills, how to persevere through failure, how to embrace one's uniqueness, and most importantly, how to believe in oneself. One of his greatest triumphs came in the form of Maria, the girl who initially doubted her own intelligence. At first, Maria was hesitant to participate in class discussions, often shrinking into her chair whenever called upon, but Marcus refused to let her retreat into silence. Every time she answered a question, even if it wasn't correct, he praised her effort instead of focusing on the outcome. "It's okay to make mistakes," he would say. "That's how we learn." Over time, Maria began to open up. She started raising her hand more often, volunteering answers without fear of being wrong. Her confidence grew steadily, not just in school but at home too. One afternoon, Maria's mother approached Marcus after class, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you," she said, clutching his hands tightly. "Before, my daughter thought she wasn't smart enough to succeed. Now she talks about becoming a scientist when she grows up. You've given her hope." Moments like these reminded Marcus why he had chosen this path. Each child represented a new opportunity to plant seeds of possibility, knowing that even the smallest act of encouragement could blossom into something extraordinary. Back at Evelyn Carter's mansion, life had undergone its own transformation. Inspired by Marcus's dedication to uplifting others, Evelyn had shifted her priorities significantly. She cut back on her work hours, delegating more responsibilities to her team so she could spend quality time with Lily. They explored museums, attended concerts, and took long walks in the park together. For the first time in years, Evelyn felt truly present in her daughter's life. Lily thrived under her mother's renewed attention. Though she couldn't see the world visually, she experienced it vividly through touch, sound, and imagination. And now, with her mother by her side, those experiences felt richer than ever. On weekends, they invited Marcus over for dinner, turning their evenings into cherished family gatherings. These moments allowed Evelyn and Lily to stay connected to Marcus's journey, celebrating his victories alongside him. During one such gathering, Evelyn shared news that left both Marcus and Lily speechless. I've decided to expand my foundation, she announced proudly. We're launching a program specifically designed to support sanitation workers who want to pursue higher education. I call it the Marcus Johnson Scholarship Fund. Marcus stared at her, stunned. You're naming it after me? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Evelyn nodded, smiling warmly. Who better to inspire others than someone who has already walked that path? Your story proves that no matter where you start, greatness is achievable with hard work and support. This fund will help others follow in your footsteps. Tears welled up in Marcus's eyes as he absorbed her words. Never in his wildest dreams had he imagined his name would be associated with something so meaningful. It was a humbling reminder that even the simplest acts of kindness could create lasting legacies. The launch of the scholarship fund marked a turning point not only for Evelyn, but also for the entire community. Applications poured in from sanitation, workers across the city, many of whom shared stories eerily similar to Marcus's. Some dreamed of becoming nurses, while others aspired to be engineers or artists. Reading their essays filled Evelyn with hope, reinforcing her belief in the power of second chances. To ensure the program's success, Evelyn enlisted Marcus's help in reviewing applications. Together, they spent countless hours discussing candidates, debating which individuals showed the most promise. Their collaboration deepened their bond, transforming them from benefactor and beneficiary into true partners working toward a shared vision. One applicant, a young woman named Sarah, stood out to both of them. Like Marcus, Sarah had dropped out of college to care for her younger siblings. Despite juggling multiple jobs, she maintained a passion for writing, submitting poetry alongside her application. Moved by her resilience, Evelyn and Marcus selected her as the inaugural recipient of the scholarship. When Sarah received the news, she broke down in tears. I never thought anyone would believe in me again, she confessed during a meeting with Evelyn and Marcus. This changes everything, for me and for my family. Her gratitude mirrored what Marcus had once felt, creating a full-circle moment that left everyone emotional. As Evelyn watched Sarah hug Marcus tightly, she realized how interconnected their lives had become. What started as a single act of kindness between a sanitation worker and a blind girl had grown into a movement touching countless lives. Meanwhile, Lily continued to flourish under Marcus's mentorship. Though she was still young, she absorbed every lesson he imparted, whether it was about perseverance, empathy, or the importance of dreaming big. One evening, as they sat on the porch watching the sunset, or listening to it in Lily's case, she turned to him and said, Marcus, I want to be like you when I grow up. Surprised, Marcus chuckled softly. What do you mean? I mean, Lily replied earnestly, you always find ways to help people, even when it's hard. And you never give up no matter what. That's what I want to do too. Her words touched Marcus deeply. In that moment, he understood the ripple effect of his actions, not just on adults like Evelyn or students like Maria, but on children like Lily, who looked up to him as a role model. It was a responsibility he embraced wholeheartedly, knowing that the values he instilled in her today would shape the person she became tomorrow. As the years went by, Marcus's impact extended far beyond the classroom. Former students returned to visit him, sharing updates about their careers and personal lives. Some had gone on to attend prestigious universities, while others were making waves in their respective fields. Regardless of their paths, they all credited Marcus with giving them the tools to succeed. Evelyn, too, found fulfillment in her new mission. The Marcus Johnson Scholarship Fund grew exponentially, helping dozens of sanitation workers achieve their educational goals. Local media covered the initiative extensively, shining a spotlight on the transformative power of generosity and determination. People from all walks of life reached out to Evelyn, eager to contribute to the cause. Through it all, Evelyn remained grounded, crediting Marcus for inspiring her transformation. He reminded me of what truly matters, she told reporters. During an interview, matters like kindness, compassion, and the belief that everyone deserves a fair shot at success. By the time Lily entered middle school, she had blossomed into a confident and curious young girl. Thanks to Marcus's guidance, she developed a love for storytelling, using her vivid imagination to craft tales that captivated listeners. When Evelyn suggested enrolling her in a creative writing workshop, Lily jumped at the opportunity. At the workshop, Lily met other children who shared her passion for words. For the first time, she realized she wasn't alone, that there were others who saw the world differently yet found beauty in it nonetheless. Encouraged by her peers and mentors, she began submitting her stories to local competitions, earning accolades for her unique perspective. Watching Lily thrive filled Evelyn with pride. She knew none of this would have been possible without Marcus's unwavering support. He had shown Lily that blindness wasn't a limitation, it was simply another way of experiencing the world. As the sun set on another chapter of their intertwined lives, Evelyn, Marcus, and Lily reflected on how far they had come. From a chance encounter on a chilly autumn morning to a partnership that transformed an entire community, their journey proved that kindness knows no bounds. Whether it was feeding a hungry child, funding an education, or simply lending an ear, every act carried the potential to change lives forever. And though their individual paths might diverge in the future, one thing remained certain: the bond they shared and the legacy they built together would endure for generations to come. Years passed, and the lives of Evelyn Carter, Marcus Johnson, and Lily intertwined even more deeply. Their shared journey had transformed not only their individual destinies but also the fabric of the community around them. What began as a simple act of kindness, a sanitation worker comforting a blind child, had grown into something far greater, a testament to the power of compassion, resilience, and second chances. Marcus's teaching career flourished beyond anyone's expectations. His classroom became known as a place where students weren't just taught academics but were nurtured emotionally and mentally. Parents often remarked that their children returned home happier, more confident, and eager to learn after spending time with him. The once shy Maria was now leading her school's science club, while Jamal, who used to struggle with reading, had discovered a love for poetry. Each success story added another layer to Marcus's legacy as an educator. But Marcus didn't stop there. Inspired by Evelyn's vision, he began organizing after-school programs aimed at helping struggling students catch up. These programs focused on subjects like math and English, but also included life skills workshops, where kids learned about teamwork, problem-solving, and empathy. One particularly popular session involved storytelling, an idea sparked by Lily herself. Marcus invited local authors, poets, and even former students to share their experiences, showing the children that everyone has a unique story worth telling. Evelyn watched all of this unfold with pride. Seeing Marcus pour his heart into these initiatives reminded her of why she had believed in him from the start. But what truly amazed her was how his efforts inspired others to step forward and contribute. Neighbors volunteered their time to tutor students, businesses donated supplies, and alumni of the scholarship fund returned to mentor new recipients. It was as if Marcus's kindness had ignited a chain reaction, spreading goodwill throughout the neighborhood. Lily, now a teenager, continued to thrive under Marcus's guidance. Her passion for storytelling blossomed into a talent that earned her recognition both locally and beyond. She won several writing competitions, including one hosted by a national youth organization. Her stories, filled with vivid imagery and heartfelt messages, resonated with readers of all ages. Judges praised her ability to convey emotions so powerfully, despite never having seen the world visually. For Lily, writing wasn't just a hobby, it was a way to connect with the world. Through her words, she painted pictures of courage, friendship, and hope. Many of her stories drew inspiration from her own life, particularly her relationship with Marcus. In one poignant tale titled "The Man Who Saw Beyond," she wrote about a kind-hearted sanitation worker who changed the lives of everyone he met. Though she never explicitly named Marcus, those close to her knew exactly who the protagonist was. When the story was published in a local newspaper, it brought tears to Evelyn's eyes. "You've captured him perfectly," she told Lily, hugging her tightly. "It's beautiful." Marcus, too, was deeply moved when he read the piece. "I don't know what to say," he admitted, his voice thick with emotion. No one's ever written about me like that before. You deserve it, Lily replied simply. You've done so much for us, for everyone. This is just my way of saying thank you. Her gratitude meant the world to Marcus. It reinforced everything he believed about the importance of connection and purpose. He realized that his impact wasn't limited to the walls of a classroom or the streets he once cleaned. It stretched into the hearts of people who carried his lessons forward. Meanwhile, Evelyn's foundation continued to grow, expanding its reach far beyond the initial scholarship program. The Marcus Johnson Scholarship Fund remained its cornerstone, supporting dozens of sanitation workers pursuing higher education. But Evelyn didn't stop there. She introduced additional initiatives, such as free tutoring centers, job training workshops, and mental health resources for families in need. One of the most impactful projects was the creation of a community garden. Located in a vacant lot that had long been an eyesore, the garden provided fresh produce to low-income households while offering educational opportunities for children. Marcus played a key role in its development, teaching his students about sustainability, nutrition, and the value of hard work. Together, they planted seeds, tended to crops, and harvested vegetables, creating a space that symbolized growth in every sense of the word. The garden quickly became a hub of activity, drawing volunteers from all over the city. Families gathered there on weekends, sharing meals made from the produce they had grown together. For many, it was a reminder of the beauty that could emerge from collaboration and care. Evelyn often joined in, finding joy in the simplicity of working alongside others toward a common goal. As the years went by, Marcus's influence extended beyond his immediate circle. Former students, scholarship recipients, and even strangers inspired by his story reached out to express their gratitude. Some credited him with helping them secure scholarships to prestigious universities. Others thanked him for instilling confidence during difficult times. A few even followed in his footsteps, becoming teachers themselves. One such individual was Sarah, the first recipient of the Marcus Johnson Scholarship Fund. After graduating with honors, she returned to the same neighborhood, where she had grown up, determined to give back. She landed a teaching position at Marcus's school, joining forces with him to create innovative lesson plans and mentor younger students. Their partnership strengthened the already thriving educational environment, proving that acts of kindness can multiply exponentially. For Evelyn, witnessing Sarah's journey felt like watching history repeat itself in the best possible way. Just as she had recognized potential in Marcus, he had done the same for Sarah, and now Sarah was paying it forward. It was a cycle of generosity that showed no signs of stopping. Despite their achievements, none of them lost sight of what truly mattered: human connection. Whether it was Evelyn spending quiet evenings with Lily, Marcus laughing with his students, or the three of them sitting together on the porch reminiscing about old times, they cherished the moments that reminded them of their shared humanity. One summer evening, as they sat outside enjoying the cool breeze, Evelyn turned to Marcus and said, "Do you ever think about how different our lives might have been if we hadn't crossed paths?" Marcus smiled thoughtfully. "All the time," he admitted, "but I try not to dwell on what-ifs. Instead, I focus on the here and now, the people I get to help, the dreams I get to chase, and the friendships I've built along the way." His words resonated deeply with Evelyn and Lily. They knew that life was unpredictable, full of twists and turns that couldn't always be anticipated. Yet through it all, they had found strength in each other, proving that even the smallest gestures could lead to extraordinary outcomes. That fall, Marcus received an unexpected invitation. He was being honored at a citywide award ceremony, recognizing individuals who had made significant contributions to education and community service. When Evelyn heard the news, she immediately insisted on attending with Lily. On the night of the event, Marcus stood nervously backstage as Evelyn adjusted his tie. "You look great," she assured him. "Just remember, you're not doing this for yourself. You're representing everyone whose life you've touched." As Marcus walked onto the stage to accept his award, the room erupted in applause. Looking out at the sea of faces, he spotted Evelyn and Lily sitting near the front, beaming with pride. In that moment, he realized that this honor wasn't just for him, it belonged to every person who had believed in him, supported him, and allowed him to do the same for others. In his acceptance speech, Marcus spoke candidly about his journey, thanking Evelyn for giving him a second chance and acknowledging the countless individuals who had inspired him along the way. None of us succeed alone, he concluded. We rise because others lift us up. And I hope that wherever you are in your journey, you'll take a moment to lift someone else. The audience gave him a standing ovation, moved by his humility and wisdom. As Evelyn wiped away tears, she knew that Marcus's words would resonate far beyond the walls of that auditorium. They were a call to action, a reminder that kindness, no matter how small, has the power to change lives forever. By the end of the evening, Marcus, Evelyn, and Lily left the venue hand in hand, their hearts full of gratitude and hope. Though their individual paths might continue to evolve, one thing remained certain. The bond they shared and the ripple effects of their actions would endure for generations to come. The years rolled on, and the lives of Evelyn Carter, Marcus Johnson, and Lily intertwined even more deeply. Their journey had grown from a single act of kindness into a powerful testament to the ripple effect of compassion. Each of them had changed in profound ways, not just as individuals but also in how they saw the world and their place within it. What started with a sanitation worker feeding a blind girl had evolved into something far greater, a movement that inspired countless others to believe in themselves and in the power of human connection. Marcus's teaching career reached new heights as he continued to inspire generations of students. His classroom became a model for innovative education, blending traditional academics with real-world lessons about resilience, empathy, and community. The after-school programs he helped establish grew into thriving hubs where children learned skills ranging from robotics to gardening. Parents often remarked that Marcus didn't just teach their kids, he transformed them. Shy students blossomed into confident leaders, while struggling learners discovered hidden talents they never knew they had. One of Marcus's proudest achievements came when Maria, his former student who once doubted her abilities, graduated at the top of her class from a prestigious university. She returned to the neighborhood to mentor younger students, crediting Marcus for instilling in her the belief that she could achieve anything. "He taught me that my past doesn't define me," Maria said during a speech at a local event. "He showed me that I am capable of greatness." As Marcus watched Maria speak, he felt an overwhelming sense of fulfillment. He realized that his impact wasn't limited to the walls of his classroom. It stretched into the lives of people who carried his lessons forward. Every success story was a reflection of the values he had worked so hard to impart: perseverance, kindness, and the courage to dream big. For Evelyn, the transformation in her life was equally profound. Inspired by Marcus's unwavering dedication to helping others, she redefined her role as a millionaire and philanthropist. Her foundation expanded rapidly, supporting not only sanitation workers but also teachers, artists, and entrepreneurs from underserved communities. The Marcus Johnson Scholarship Fund became a beacon of hope for hundreds of individuals seeking a second chance at education. Alumni of the program went on to pursue careers in medicine, engineering, law, and beyond, proving that opportunity could unlock limitless potential. Evelyn's personal growth mirrored the changes she sparked in her community. She no longer measured success solely by financial gain, but by the number of lives she touched. Spending time with Lily and Marcus reminded her of what truly mattered: love, connection, and purpose. Together they created memories that filled her home with laughter and warmth. Whether it was baking cookies, reading stories, or simply sitting on the porch listening to the sounds of the neighborhood, these moments grounded her in a way money never could. Lily, now a young adult, continued to flourish under their guidance. Her passion for storytelling evolved into a promising career as a writer and advocate for accessibility in literature. She published her first book, a collection of short stories inspired by her experiences growing up blind, and dedicated it to Marcus. On the day of its release, she stood beside him at a bookstore signing, holding his hand tightly. "This is for you," she whispered. You've always believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself." Her words brought tears to Marcus's eyes. Watching Lily succeed reinforced everything he believed about the importance of encouragement and support. He realized that his actions weren't just changing individual lives. They were creating a legacy of kindness that would endure long after he was gone. The community itself underwent a remarkable transformation thanks to their collective efforts. The garden Marcus and Evelyn had started became a symbol of unity and renewal. Families gathered there regularly, sharing meals and stories while tending to the plants together. Local businesses donated resources, schools organized field trips, and volunteers poured in from all corners of the city. It was a living testament to the idea that collaboration and care could turn something neglected into something beautiful. Even the sanitation department, where Marcus had once worked, benefited from Evelyn's initiatives. Workers received access to mental health counseling, job training programs, and scholarships for their families. Many of them credited these opportunities with improving not only their careers, but also their quality of life. One worker approached Marcus during a neighborhood cleanup event and thanked him personally. "You gave us hope," the man said. "Because of you, we know we're more than just garbage collectors. We're contributors to this community." Hearing those words filled Marcus with pride. He understood that true leadership wasn't about standing above others, but lifting them up alongside you. By empowering those around him, he created a network of support that strengthened the entire neighborhood. As the years passed, Evelyn, Marcus, and Lily remained pillars of strength for one another. Though their roles in each other's lives had shifted over time, their bond remained unshakable. They celebrated milestones together, graduations, promotions, and even weddings, as well as quieter moments like birthdays and holidays. For Evelyn, having Marcus and Lily by her side made every challenge easier to face. For Marcus, knowing he had a family rooting for him gave him the confidence to keep pushing boundaries. And for Lily, their unwavering love provided a foundation upon which she built her dreams. One autumn evening, as they sat together on Evelyn's porch watching the leaves fall, Marcus turned to Evelyn and asked, "Do you ever wonder what might have happened if we hadn't met?" Evelyn smiled softly. "Sometimes," she admitted. "But then I think about everything we've accomplished together, the lives we've touched, the dreams we've nurtured. I can't imagine my life without you in it." Lily chimed in, her voice warm with affection. "You two are proof that kindness matters. Without you, Mom, Marcus might still be collecting trash. And without you, Marcus, I might not have found my voice." Her words hung in the air, a poignant reminder of how interconnected their fates had become. They weren't just three individuals whose paths had crossed. They were a family forged through shared struggles and triumphs. Together, they represented the best of humanity: resilience, generosity, and an unyielding belief in the goodness of others. Years later, when Marcus retired from teaching, the entire community came together to honor him. Students, parents, colleagues, and friends gathered at the school to celebrate his decades of service. Evelyn and Lily stood proudly beside him as he addressed the crowd, his voice steady with emotion. "I didn't do any of this alone," he said, gesturing to the sea of faces before him. "Every achievement, every success belongs to all of us. We rise because we lift each other up." The audience erupted in applause, moved by his humility and gratitude. As Evelyn wiped away tears, she realized that Marcus's legacy wasn't confined to the walls of a classroom or the streets he once cleaned. It lived on in the hearts of everyone he had touched, inspiring them to carry forward the spirit of kindness and determination. In the end, their story was not just about a millionaire, a sanitation worker, and a blind girl. It was about the transformative power of compassion. Through small acts of kindness, they had ignited a chain reaction that spread far beyond their immediate circle. Teachers inspired students, students inspired families, and families inspired entire neighborhoods. The ripple effects of their actions proved that no gesture is too small to make a difference. And so as Evelyn, Marcus, and Lily looked back on their journey, they knew they had created something extraordinary. Their lives were a testament to the idea that humanity thrives when We choose to see beyond differences, embrace vulnerability, and extend a helping hand. Together, they had shown the world that love, perseverance, and faith in one another could overcome even the greatest obstacles. Their story wasn't over. It would continue to unfold through the lives they had touched and the legacies they left behind. But one thing was certain: the bond they shared and the impact they made would endure for generations to come.